All right, because I like to start some problems, let me toss out a quick hypothetical. How far do you think Thanos is going against the Dragon Ball universe with all the Infinity Stones and the Gauntlet? Let me know down below. I feel that'd be interesting because I feel like the Infinity Stones, let's be real, are pretty broken, and all he has to do is snap his fingers, and then everybody gets kind of deleted there. But have fun at it, and this is the part where a lot of people who aren't exposed to the Marvel universe outside the MCU are going to be like,
yeah, no, Goku solos.
It would not be an easy fight. I'm gonna be real with you. The stones are crazy. So have at it down below. Before I hop in, also I have a quick challenge for you guys. I bet you can't get this video to 7,777 likes. Why? Because, well, it's a challenge, and the thing about Dragon Ball fans is we have overcome the most ridiculous challenges. And if you guys can get to that goal, then I'll give you a thumbs up. If you don't hit that goal, I will snap. I'll do it. I'll snap the fingers right now. Don't make me. Let's talk about what happened in the chapter, though. First and foremost, can we talk about the fact that recently, and this is just complete side note, in case you haven't heard, Toei actually had this crazy hack or something that happened a couple weeks ago, and it affected everything. I don't exactly know what happened, or stuff was like stolen. They got hacked, and kind of Dragon Ball went down. Like literally, they even pushed the movie back, which is wild. That's crazy. The fact that it was that wild to the point they have to push the movie back is insane to me. And to be real, in my mind, I'm like, well, was the movie even ready? Because like a couple weeks ago, they didn't even have all the voice lines like recorded and stuff yet because of it being like around the corner. Like, how's it gonna get done in time? So it's kind of a good thing. And I think they also tweeted out that they're gonna work on improving the movie in the meantime, which is kind of fire. But still wild to hear that Dragon Ball Super and Toei just went through that. So yeah, just kind of toss it out there because it is kind of important to talk about. But I also want to focus on the recent chapter. Now, what's funny is every single month when I sit down to talk about this, I kind of always had like a negative jump into what happened in the arc that I didn't necessarily like. It's not that I didn't dislike it. I want that to be very clear. I don't dislike this arc. I'm just not having as much fun with it. You know, compared to what happened with Moro. Moro, you have this character who's just basically this magical being that can take on people like Goku and Vegeta without a problem. And then before that, you had, you know, everything else that happened. I just feel like, you know, the Granola arc has been very, very dry up until at least this point. And there's a lot of cliche aspects as well, because like the thing is like I got excited when they gave Vegeta a new form, and he thought that this is gonna be finally the moment where Vegeta can do something cool without being held back. In all reality, nothing really even happened with that other than just teasing like they normally do. Vegeta always does something cool, but then he can't deliver because Goku's the main character, and for whatever reason, they're always gonna have him be the focus. I mean, I get it, he's the main character, but so is Vegeta. Let's be real. Vegeta's not a side character. He is a main character of the series. So if he was to do something cool and actually use the Ultra Ego form in the correct way, I feel like nobody would be upset about it. In fact, it's something that we as Dragon Ball fans have been wanting for the longest. Even Goku fans at some point would be like, you know what? You guys deserve it this time, and give Vegeta that moment. So that's why I'm kind of like been all over the place. Like they set it up to do cool stuff, and then the execution isn't quite there. Now, one thing I would talk about is last month I mentioned how to keep dragging this chapter on because I believe it was in December. Yeah, in December during Jump Festa, they mentioned that they're about to reach the climax of the arc and it's finishing up soon. It is currently March. It is March. There's a dust particle flying around me. It is currently March, and we're still not anywhere nearly done. So what does that mean that it was close? Because like all we saw in this entire chapter was Goku basically buying time by instant transmissioning from planet to planet to planet to planet. And I didn't realize until the end what he was actually doing. Because you guys remember, instant transmission has a limitation where if it's too far away, you can't necessarily sense keys, I guess, and unless you know how to lock onto certain people's key, you can't really travel. So all Goku did is going from planet to planet to planet, recognizing keys that he know, and then basically at that point he went back, and back to basically playing cereal. And at that point, because Gas doesn't really know how to use instant transmission that well, the only option he has is to fly in the direction of the planet. Now, what's crazy to me is apparently, but as far as they were, it's gonna take them 20 minutes to get back there, which is kind of wild to me. I feel like that doesn't really make sense. I mean, unless power scales want to hop in and kind of do the math there. But the fact that it will take them 20 minutes to get back after being that far away is just wild to me. Unless, of course, what he's probably gonna do is he's gonna get close enough as possible and then use instant transmission, in which case, sure, at that point it makes sense. But still, I see what he's going for. But the thing is like, this is the one time where nothing was happening, but I kind of enjoyed it. You know, they had like the comedic factor that they tossed in it, which is kind of random, by talking about how Gas pissed himself, which I didn't get that at first. It's like, this is a weird part to add comedy right now. I see what they're doing, but it doesn't make any sense. But then I realized what they were going for here. Gas is still a child, basically. You know, and it's revealed that Gas essentially only listens to his older brother, and then the crack was made. They cracked his shell, which is to basically be like, hey, you don't have to listen to your brother. So I see where this is going. Are we gonna get to the point where Gas is gonna be like, you know what? I'm not gonna listen to you anymore. I don't need you. Let me become a good guy. I hope not, because like going back at it a month ago, I was like, what are they gonna do? Because Goku and Vegeta are tired. You know, you got Monaito basically healing Granola, and it's taking forever. They're not gonna have enough time to heal everybody, number one. And number two, with how gas is powerful, it wouldn't make any other sense other than potentially fusion, which is a cop-out, to defeat him at this point. So now they're basically talking about how it's like, oh, you're basically a child, and you know, they're going through Bardock's stuff where they're trying to find you know, how Bardock was able to beat Gas when he was a kid 40 years ago. So it's like, now I'm to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm invested because I don't know what's going to quite happen, but I'm still kind of expecting something that's, what's the word, cliche and expected. Does that make sense? I expect the unexpected, but I expect it. That sounds like a giant mouthful and a tongue twister there. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, and I enjoyed what was happening. But something that I guess was a hot topic this past week was the fact that Goku remembered his parents. You know, you guys remember in, you know, the Broly movie, even though that was kind of retconned and changed around, Goku was tossed into the space pod by Bardock and Guinea, and then got fired off to planet Earth. You know, and at that point, I guess, you know, we know the story from there. He hits his head, forgets everything. But because of what Bardock and Guinea said to him, I guess that triggered a memory, and now he remembers his parents. Now, I don't know where this is going, but I will say this. The conversation you had with Whis, where Whis was like, you have to basically, you know, learn how to use Ultra Instinct on your own way and make it your thing, is going to be tied to, I guess, his roots as a Saiyan or something. I don't know. Him remembering his parents, I feel like will be the key for him to go on Ultra Instinct, mastering it, and basically being like the final trump card that we see against Gas. So next chapter will probably be the finale of the fight, and then we'll probably get one more chapter that kind of wraps everything up. So the next fight will probably happen next month, and then after that they're gonna wrap it up, and then the month after that, around the summertime, is when we get the next arc. So that's kind of like where we're going with it. But again, I don't know. I want this to be different, because in my mind I'm like, they're just gonna do the Goku thing. You know, Goku's gonna pull something out of his ass and win, and that's just been the thing that's been going on in the series for literally decades. And that's not necessarily a wrong thing or a bad thing, because at the end of the day, it's, you know, what we've seen so many times. But I would not be opposed if this one time maybe Monaito uses his ability to heal Vegeta, and then Vegeta breaks out Ultra Ego. What I would love to see, and this is very plausible at this point, is Master Ultra Instinct and Master Ultra Ego, both Saiyans work together to take this man out. And maybe even Granola will hop in and sacrifice himself with something stupid that's going to be kind of like dramatic. But that, I think, is the most ideal ending we're going to see next month and the month after that. What I don't want to happen, so we're talking about, like, you know, both sides, is I don't want to drag it on to the point where there is, you know, fights for the next 4 months. Because at that point, I'm like, this has been dragging on too long. Because think about it, this arc started forever ago. It's been like, what, a year and a half since the Granola fight started, and nothing really happened out of that. They fought for months just for Granola to be like, you know what, we're cool now. And they shook up, they adapted each other up, and now they're chilling. Like can I get something that's unexpected and different for once? And again, this is why I like the Moro arc, because Moro arc kicked back to a lot of what happened in the Namek saga with Frieza, and it had a very unique villain that now has essentially magic to fight, you know, because again, Goku and Vegeta are gods. They're the level of gods, and you can only do so much to make threats actual threats there. That's why I'm like, really, now we're at the point where the threat is basically dictated by a wish from Shenron, or whatever the dragon is called for, you know, the 2-star Dragon Ball. So yeah, that's why I've been kind of like all over the place with this. I enjoyed this chapter. I thought it was very, very fun. I like the throwbacks to, you know, number one, Goku kind of getting a connection to Bardock in a way, which has been a very, very controversial topic for decades in Dragon Ball. It's like, what would Goku do if he meets Bardock? He probably wouldn't care. It wouldn't care. But now we got a situation where we got a glimpse of a memory gland where he remembered his mom and dad, and that's going to ultimately lead to something else that's going to happen next month that's probably tied to him reaching his roots and going into Ultra Instinct. Now, one thing I will say that I did not like, and I really wish he would have done it, is this is the perfect opportunity to throw Broly in here. Again, I have never been the biggest fan of Z Broly, but I love DBS Broly. And last month, they literally set it up where they were going from planet to planet to planet. In my mind, I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to go to Vampa at some point. Even if it's for like one panel, even if we saw Broly's dumbass face, like, huh? That would have been fun. Although maybe he didn't do it because it would have been selfish or something. But still, you have another person that can help you out, that can do something while you're buying time for Vegeta and everybody else. Like, that would have been cool to see. Instead, we see him jumping from planet to planet, from the galactic prison to Whis randomly. And why was Whis off by himself? I mean, I get he was eating food, but like, why was he not with Beerus? Aren't they always supposed to be together? maybe in the next chapter they revealed that Beerus was in the background eating food the whole time. But Whis being there by himself was kind of weird because he's an angel. He's supposed to be an attendant to the god of destruction. So either Beerus was in the bathroom or something, or it doesn't make sense that Whis was by himself, is basically what I'm trying to say. But I guess in his mind, the reason why he did what he did was because he knew that, he even mentioned that, like, you know, if I leave you with Whis wasn't going to be, you know, like, he wasn't going to be Whis, essentially. Whereas you could probably argue that the reason why he didn't take him to Broly is because he knew that if Broly faced him, he would just get potentially killed, and he didn't want to be probably responsible for that. Even though we've seen Goku do that many, many times in the past, where it's like, for example, when he instant transmission Cell to King Kai's, granted it was like a last-minute decision, he did transmission him to King Kai's and then, you know, died there. Because in my mind, I'm always like, well, if you have instant transmission, you could easily instant transmission him to King Kai's planet and then grab King Kai, Bubbles, and Greg, and just leave. You could have done that. But he didn't do that, you know. Instead, he just showed up, blew up, and called it a day. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can always look back on in the series that happened that's like, well, this should have happened, that should have happened, that doesn't. And a lot of it you can probably just bring down to the writing is simple. You know, it's draggable. It's not gonna be something super complex at the end of the day, which is what made the series as popular as it was. It's so simple, the characters are fun, the story is easy to follow, and that's why, you know, a lot of times when you look at the things that happen in the show and the radicals that pop up, people get upset. It's like, no, it shouldn't be like this because X, Y, and Z. End of the day, what Toriyama, and I guess even Toyotaro in this case, come up with is basically on them, and you can't argue with that. I mean, we can be upset about it, but we can't argue with it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the whole family thing though, because again, I didn't see the backlash when it happened, but I saw, you know, even Dado texted me when originally the leaks happened. A lot of people were not happy at the fact that Goku remembered Bardock and Guinea at that moment. But I didn't really see it as anything of a big deal because, again, we all have that. You know, when you're just sitting there existing and a random core memory is unlocked out of nowhere, you're just like, damn, I remember when I did this when I was 3. Like, it just pops up. It's not too far-fetched for that to even happen. I mean, Goku's life as a baby was basically he was a test tube baby and then tossed into a space pod, and that's it. And then from there, obviously, his memory was lost when he hit his head. But it's not too far-fetched to remember something as simple as a goodbye from Guinea and Bardock, even at 2 days old. Well, I'm sure there's science, something that prevents you from that being accurate. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not too far-fetched is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much to say. It was a fun chapter. Again, they're dragging on this arc for way too long. And as long as they end it next month, the fight aspect of it, it's not going to be that bad. But if you get to the point where there's a cliffhanger next month because either Goku gets beaten last second or the fight is going to go on for another month, that's when I'm going to be like, all right, I'm never going back to this arc ever again. And I'm never going to talk about it again. Moro finished, and I still love Moro. I think it's great. I think how the entire arc unfolded was fun and enjoyable. But everything after that with Granola has just been so dull and just dragged on. And honestly, it feels like they're just trying to buy time as much as possible so they can work on something very, very cool. So maybe the next arc will be insane for that exact reason. So, I don't know. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below of how you felt about anything that was basically shown off in this. And we'll go from there. But yeah, man. Vegeta, man, do something. But yeah, Vegeta, can we please get Ultra Ego and Ultra Instinct to team up together and just beat the shit out of Gas? Because that'd be a lot of fun. That would be gas. That would absolutely be gas end of the day, in my opinion. Just don't give us the cop-out fusions and stuff like that. And something that doesn't make sense end of the day. But if it does happen, then it is what it is. I'm gonna just wait for the next chapter and just keep consuming the series that I grew up with and love to this day. So yeah, I'm gonna end it right here. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you enjoyed the video, as always, like I said, hit that thumbs up, and I guess stay tuned for more Dragon Ball talk, I guess next month at the same time whenever the next chapter drops.